Hello everyone, and welcome back. Got all kind of stuff going on around here. Haven't been filming at all the last few days. I had one of the tires here that was grinding, you know, when you put on the brakes, and I went ahead and took this apart, and then I was going to get brake pads, and then the little thingy that pushes your brake pad back and forth, the little plunger thing, they were locked in and I couldn't get it to come loose on the bracket. So I pulled the bracket on this side, and then I went in to get parts for it. And anyway, like they had the bracket and they had the little push things, or they could get them, but they couldn't get the little rubber or plastic little boot that goes over it. Anyway, it was a big hassle, so if I ordered new calipers, I'd get the whole thing, the bracket, the plungers, you know, and I'd get the new caliper, and it was only like $10 per side cheaper. So I went ahead and ordered those yesterday. They showed up this morning, and I have those in my truck. I want to start driving this now for winter because, I mean, it's going to be nice today, 62 degrees, but that's not going to last much longer. I mean, this is way over what the average temperature is. I couldn't get anybody to bite on the radial saw when I had it for sale for $50. So last night I put it up for free, 2 days ago maybe. I don't know if it was last night or must have been last night, because this morning my phone is blowing up. And now somebody's on their way out here. I'm just about to cook up some ribeye steaks. We're doing baked potato and green beans for lunch. So they're on their way out, but I couldn't get it out of this room, so I finally just come out this morning and tore it out the door and that section of wall. I'm leaving those studs in there. I actually beefed them up because they go underneath the truss. And then I'll go ahead and I think I'm going to tear out the wall up to this truss right here, and then we'll leave it because Melissa wants a wall built straight across here so the kiln is in its own separate room, which you're supposed to do because you have to vent it because it gets poisonous gases or whatever. And then this little room, if I block this off, this fan will suck it right out. I mean, no problem. I've got a lot of the electrical running here, and now I have power in here, so at least I can get lights on at night so I can work a little bit past 6:30 when it gets completely dark outside. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. Next weekend at this time, I'll probably be out in a deer stand up at the tent. Zachary is going to come over on Tuesday and give me a hand with this metal, and we're going to get the metal put on that front garage roof. Tomorrow I'll probably start doing some stuff on it, getting it ready. Monday I'll finish that up in the afternoon, and then Tuesday he can help with the metal. This thing is still circulating and running the chemicals. It's going to be warm, but still chilly at night, so I'm probably going to have to fire this up in this video just to get it started and learn how it works and everything, so that when I'm gone for that week deer hunting, it's supposed to be a lot colder and wet, and then she can just keep this thing going. It's been so windy, it's hard to film. And those guys are supposed to be here, whoever's coming to get that radial saw should have been here 20 minutes ago. Well, after spending almost 4 hours doing stuff with that boiler that should have been done by the company that put it in, putting the, like the chicken wire, it wasn't chicken wire, it was smaller than that, like a hardware cloth type stuff, so critters can't get underneath there and stuff. It just aggravated me. And then I had to insulate where the pipes go into the house. You know, there's that big thing where the pipes go up and turn and go in, and they said I had to insulate that, and I don't think I should have had to do that. Anyway, now that we don't have this little building in the front of the trailer here, and the trailer's going to be here all winter, I want to have a light in the front of this, because when I plow snow, I like when it's all really bright in the wintertime out here. I really do. So I've got this that used to run the little addition thing here. It just plugs in inside. I'm just going to hook it up to the, I happened to save the old light when I took down that front part, and it's just been sitting here and sitting there, and yeah, I just cut it out. So I'm just going to screw it back on the wall and plug it in like a lamp. Ta-da! Good morning, everybody. Started out at just about 31 degrees this morning. It was like 30.8. And I wanted to get out here and get this little temporary set of steps built so that anything Melissa wants to do in there for cats or whatever, she can get in there and do. And like I said, it's temporary. I'm not real worried about it, but I wanted to get this done because it's kind of tedious and easier to do when it's warmer out, and it's supposed to get up to 62 today, and it's warming up fast. I got the steps in, I'll have to put a railing on it. And Melissa came out and she said, can we just do pizza today? She goes, I really do not feel like cooking. She was either going to do chicken in the air, she got some new air oven, I don't know what it is. And then, or else she was going to do breakfast for lunch, but she just did not feel like cooking. She's going to do the chicken later today, and I said, order up the pizzas, I'll go get them. Time to go in and have some lunch. Oh, we're going to come back to this in a little bit. I just had Melissa out here to help me bleed this side, just like she helped me with the other side. I don't know, until I get it back on and drive it down the driveway and see how the brakes are. I don't see any leaks, so hopefully we're good, but I think I'm going to fire up that boiler. I'd like to practice with that. It's supposed to get down to, it says it's getting down to 34. Last night it said it was getting down to 38, and what, it got down to 30 or 29 or something, so let's fire it up tonight. Even if, you know, it goes, it's supposed to be warm tomorrow, but still, I just need to practice. Paper and some pine cones. You didn't even take him for a spin on the machine or anything for him to be limping.
Well, he's running around like he's retarded now. Joni! Chunky!
That smoke really cooks out of it faster then, doesn't it? She has a ways to go. I opened it up and put more wood in, but I didn't know that I'm supposed to open the bypass here first and then shut down the furnace, so the smoke was coming out. Now it's coming out of this hole because I'm sure it got into whatever chamber. I'll learn. Well, I'm not sure. The brakes seem weird to me. Like, I like my brakes when they're right up at the top, but I haven't driven this truck for so long. I haven't, you know how it is when you get into a different truck and drive it? I mean, it stopped just fine. Everything was, I guess we'll just see how it goes driving it. You know, I think that with this truck, see how the back end is higher than the front end? I don't know if you can see it really good now. But, you know, the front end, the whole truck has a 2-inch lift in it. And I think that, I remember putting these shocks in or having them put in new, and they really seem like they're crunched down now. And I bet you those shocks are bad. I don't know if that would help it hold up or not, but I just don't remember that back end being higher than the front end. I remember it being pretty well equal. Well, today I filmed absolutely nothing until now. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, Zachary's going to be here. We're going to get this metal roof on. I had a very busy morning. Didn't get started out here until about 2. And I tore off what was left of the fascia and stuff, and I really thought that this is going to be in a lot worse shape than what it is. Really wasn't that bad. I added some kickers on the side of some of the lookouts, or the side of the truss. The lookout would be going straight back. It's not really rotted, but I'll be using 3-inch screws, or 3 1/4, going, and I'm going to put 1.5 inch sub fascia on here. I like that better than 1x. And I want to make sure that it grabs good. So the ones that I thought might be a little soft, and there was like 2 in the whole garage that were really soft for about 1.5 inches. So I've got that done. Up here I want to extend this overhang. I always thought it looked stupid with the 6-inch. So I'm actually going to cut it back the 6 inches and then add on just 12 inches out. And then I'll run a new strip of plywood going up there. But I wanted to get some of this done today, so when Zach and I hit it tomorrow, we can get the whole steel roof on in one day. I got everything here also. And now that the roof plywood that's on there, the OSB, the worst spot is back about 5 inches where it's dark. And the first like 1/2 inch to some places 1 inch are pretty bad. So I think I'm going to take the skill saw, I'm going to cut it back 1 foot and then put a 1-foot strip along the whole bottom on both sides. I did pick up 4 sheets of plywood today, 2x6s for sub fascia, some 2x4s, 2x6s for the going up the gable end and everything. So I'll have enough stuff here. Only one I have to do this one time. When I was at Menards today picking up that stuff, George was there. Talked to him about a half hour. And him and his son, they were up at the cabin last weekend and checking out stands and everything. And he said he saw no deer sign really at all. So it doesn't look very promising this year, but let's see. Today's Monday. Thursday morning, I'm going up there. Kids will join me on Friday and the opener is on Saturday. Like George said, it only takes a minute to change everything. You know there's deer up there. There's just not very many. I'll be so happy to get this metal roof on. I've been watching it deteriorate since we bought it. And this is going to be nice. As far as the wood boiler goes, which is probably what everybody's wanting to hear about, it burned good last night. I had a couple of questions. There was smoke coming out of here, so I went on to I think it was the Facebook group or whatever it was, and they said that yeah, that happens with theirs too. And once it gets creosote and stuff on there, it won't happen as much. But to put this in a totally enclosed shed, it would not be a good idea. It should be like, part of it open so that can get out. There's not a lot of smoke, but like I showed you last night. Okay, so it burned real good. When I went to bed, water temperature was up to 180 is when the fan shuts off. It was at 174. But I mean, it was 10:30. It was time to go to bed. I had a busy day today. And so then when I woke up this morning, I come out here about 5 after 4, and the fire was out. And what happened, first of all, there's like not a humongous bed of coals down there. And but the fire was out, but the fan was on, trying to burn the fire. It was still hot there. I bet you it's still warm in there, right? But as soon as it got up to that 180, it would have shut the fan off, and then the fire would have just smoldered. So without having a huge bed of coals in there, and I had those big logs in there, when it's kicked back on, the smaller stuff had burned, and it wasn't enough coals to restart it. That's what I'm guessing happened. I mean, all it is a big wood stove. Every wood stove I've ever burned has its own personality. I've said that before. The one at the tent had the one stove, 10 years, got rid of it, got the exact same stove, identical, put it in there, different personality. Just acts a little bit different. So until I really learn how this one works, which I'm going to learn pretty quick, I'll figure that out. But right now it's the shoulder season where, you know, today it got to 63 degrees. 2 days from now it's going to get to 70. Next week we have days that are going to be, the high is going to be 30. Now I'm going to be deer hunting. So it's just that time of year when it's cold all the time, it's going to need more heat. That fire is going to burn more. We're going to get more coals, and it's going to be easier. I do think I'm going to fire it up again tonight. I had another question too, because my water level right now, it's not at 3/4 or 1/4 of a tank, but because you fill it up and it doesn't take much for it to come out, you know, maybe 3 gallons. So, but when it was burning, the water was running out the side, out the top, and it said it was totally full. And now when it's cooled down, it's dropped down. It's still above the fill level. So what happens there? Does the water expand? I guess I need to pose that question into one of those groups again, because they were really helpful, and just figure out what's going on. I checked it in the back to make sure there was no air in it. Went down in the basement. I have another nozzle. I can actually fill this thing from the basement through the pipes. And there was no air in there either. The first time when I hooked it up, I opened it up and there was a little bit of air coming out, but there was nothing but hot water. So yeah, I mean, it's a big stove and it'll take a little bit to get used to it, but pumps are still running and everything. I'll just probably fire it up tonight, and just practice again, because remember last night they said it was going to get to 34 or 38. This morning when I got up, it was 20.8. Didn't make it to 19, but it was 20, yeah, in the 20s. Tonight they're saying it's going to be 34, so we'll see what happens. And right now the water still in there is still at 94 degrees. I'm definitely going to bring the rest of the split wood that's over there, bring it over here. And then I'm also going to bring one of the bundles of the slab wood. That's what I started it with. And I've read other places where people say it works great for filling the gaps. Well, that would keep that thing burning. When you've got a big old log like this, you know, I mean, it wouldn't even hurt to split that really, but if I get a good bed of coals, it's supposed to burn anything. Definitely a learning curve. Well, the temperature is rising. It's up to 98, so I'll come back out here maybe an hour and check it and see if the water level rises in there. I'm not going to post my question until I see what happens the second time. Good morning, everybody. Well, the boiler stayed going all night. You can see that it's still smoldering away. I actually went on that Facebook site and asked about this, and one guy commented and said, change your differential, because right now the water, if it's at 180, the fan stops. If it goes to 170, it starts again. He said change that to like 2 or 3 degrees instead of 10 degrees, because he burns his 365 days a year. So I went ahead and did that, and I haven't put any more wood since you saw me do it last night, and it's still working. This morning I was out here checking this at about 5 after 4, and when I came outside I could hear the blower, the fan motor on the furnace blowing the heat in the house. And usually you would walk outside and you could hear, the furnace coming up through the smokestack or whatever you want to call it. And there was nothing this morning. It was silent out here, but yet the fan was blowing and the house is nice and warm. Zachary should be here in an hour and a half, and I think we'll open up the stove and see how much wood burned overnight. And then I think I'm just going to load it up today. Even though it's going to be warm, I'm just going to load it up and see what happens. I don't know, that's a good question. Do you think the top will get just as hot or hotter?
Yeah, maybe they just blow off there.
The nice thing with the metal roof, it's already pre-cut for length. I got to cut one on the end, but everything else it was.
There's a little spot right in here
Yeah.
that isn't cut all the way through, and it's hanging me up a little bit.
Okay, I should get out of there. I'll cut it.
Okay. Kind of like the first 4 feet of it, the first 2 sections there.
Okay.
What's that?
That one is really crooked on the end. We'll let the 2x6 stick past, and then I'm going to beat that one out.
The pieces of sheathing?
Yep.
Yeah, that's like as tight as I can
It's
get
not
it.
the plywood, it's the actual 2x6. And then you sight from that side this way. See, this one has to go out some too, but
You gotta come down an A. Okay. Here you go. Yep.
oh, Zachary just left. We got all the big panels on. I still have the two little end ones to cut. I'm going to go up there right now because it's going to get dark fast and screw everything off. What a day. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks a lot for watching. If I could have had another hour and a half of daylight, could have got it all done. It's all screwed off, everything that's laid. Just have these two little, probably 8-inch pieces and the ridge cap to do. And then screw off the very bottom row, but I have to put those foam pieces in, which I have. Just not enough daylight anymore. I will do a full tutorial about what I've learned about the stove and everything like that once I get back from deer hunting. Today this thing has just worked amazing. I will see you guys on the next video.